I'm Christine Santos, ex-corporate woman turned founder of my own boutique podcast production company. And it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the knowledge, the time, and the community to focus on growing my small but fun and exciting business. Through it all, I've had many challenges and failures and lessons learned. Today, I have so much fun helping others change lives and having the time and choices that allows me to spend more time with my family. It wasn't too long ago that this was just a someday dream. I created the Wonder Boldly podcast to give you inspiration with actionable steps to help you go after your someday dream now. If you're ready to take your days, weeks, months, life back into your own hands, or you're just curious what it means to create a business that makes an impact in a life you love, you are in the right place. Let's go. Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Wonder Boldly. Today, I am so excited to have with me Shelly Jefferis. She is this amazing woman. I cannot wait for you to meet her. I met her in a mastermind. Probably, I always forget, but I met her online. We have never physically met in person, as people say, and she is just so amazing. I've watched her for what I would consider a while, and her journey and her talking about health and wellness. And as you know, here on the Wonder Boldly show, I love to talk health and wellness with other people because I'm not an expert. It's probably selfish if you think about it, because I want to learn more myself, but I want to share that with all of you. So she was so gracious to do this with me. We've been planning this for a while. I'm so happy to have her here. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So Shelly has been in the health and wellness profession for over 35 years. So people, we have an expert here for sure. She is an educator, speaker, and mentor. She's a college professor, but her real passion lies in impacting the lives of others and mentoring them to feel and live their best lives. I just had to make sure that I hit that because that is what Shelly exudes. Being with her on Zoom or watching her socials, that just comes through. She educates on healthy, clean living through reducing toxic exposure. Nodding my head, yes, yes, yes. She created Purge Your Pantry, where she provides education and suggestions of ways to live healthier in our own homes. She is passionate about sharing holistic wellness with others and has created a program, Moms Who Flourish, to empower moms to put their health and self-care as a priority through fitness, wellness, and mindset. She is also the host of the Words of Wellness podcast. She's married with 3 beautiful children of her own and always operates from the mindset of family first. Her biggest love is spending time with her family and her fur babies. She loves to work out, read, and is constantly learning and growing to become the best version of herself so she can in turn give back to others and make an impact in this world. That is so you, Shelly. Thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to do this with you.
I'm so excited, Christine. And thank you for sharing all of that. I don't know that I've ever actually sat and listened to someone else read that. And I feel almost a little emotional hearing it. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, you're just beautiful inside and out. You're beautiful.
You're so kind. Thank you for that so much. I really appreciate that.
Of course. And so here on the Wonder Boldly show, I like the audience to get to know a little bit about the guests. So I'd ask that you share something with us that, of course, I always say that you're comfortable with sharing, and that sort of gives us a glimpse into Shelly and what maybe brought you to this point in your life, or maybe some of the things you've learned along the way, whatever you feel called to share.
I'm always open to share anything, Christine, but I know we have a certain amount of time, so I will try and keep it limited, right? Because I know we talk for a really long time. And I will just share that my love for fitness started when I was in junior high. And I loved my PE class. I loved my PE teacher, and she made such an impact on me that it carried through into my adult life. I started exercising. I got interested in fitness and nutrition, and it just grew from there. And I often say that as a teenager, I'm very grateful because I really believe for young people that I know that it's an outlet for us. It's a way to release stress. It's a way to have something of our own. It's a way to have quiet time and thought time and just time to just be alone. That's how it was for me because I got into running. Now, some others get into team sports, and that's a whole other benefit in itself. But I really believe it was a big deal during those very formative and sometimes challenging years. And so it led me later on to playing sports. It led me to then eventually in my adult life getting my degree in kinesiology and going on to teach college. And in addition to teaching college, I've always had usually some type of business alongside. And I joke that it seems like it matches the ages of my children. And I ran and had a franchise when my babies were babies called Stroller Strides. And so we worked out outdoors, and we just had this beautiful community of moms and babies and families. So we did that for a while. And then as my children got a little older, I became responsible for their physical education program at their elementary school. So I was there almost every day, got to see them at school every day. And then I got involved with a health and wellness company that I'm still partnered with to this day. And then from that, I've just expanded into really wanting to create another community for moms, which is my Moms Who Flourish community, where I am looking to just serve moms at this point in time locally. Of course, my goal is to expand, and that's just something that's been on my heart to do for a couple years, very much similar to my podcast, thanks to you helping me getting it off the ground. And that was also something that came to me 5 or 6 years ago that I knew it was something that I wanted to do. And I think it just comes back to the timing. I think it's so cliche, but it just comes back to the timing is everything. And I'm really feeling that, especially at this stage in my life. Wellness, it's just been a part of my being for all of these years. And I'm so grateful for that. I don't know any different. And so that's just been a nutshell as to how I've gotten to where I am today.
The thing that stands out for me is always that moment or moments, because sometimes it's not just a moment, when something impacts us. So we all know we can hear the same message over and over. And on a Tuesday, it's raining out, it's 3 o'clock, and it just lands right for whatever reason that is. So I am going to ask you that tough question of, you mentioned your gym teacher made an impact, and that's sort of where you said the origin was. How did it land just right for you at that time? How did that person get to make that impact for you? And I ask that question so people who are listening, if they're trying to make an impact, maybe that will give them some insight. If they're maybe trying to have their child feel an impact, that's where I'm going with it. What is it? If you could maybe articulate a little bit from that history, where and how was she able to do that?
That is such a great question, Christine. And I don't think I've been asked that yet. And I've been able to actually tell her in person and thank her in person because I live in an area now that I didn't grow up in. I didn't go to school in junior high and high school where I live now. And so getting the opportunity to tell her has been really special. And I don't know, except for the fact that I believe one, she just probably had a very positive way about her and in what she shared and the example that she set. And it was probably the right timing for me. I think that, again, being junior high is such a funky age. We're going from elementary to not quite high school. And it was a strange time for me, friendship wise, family wise. I think that I was at that point in my friendships where I realized, and I'm thankful for this, but I realized that maybe I'm not really, as I see now, hanging out with the best group of friends. It was fine in elementary school, but something started to shift in junior high. And so as I made that change, I'll never forget. They were very nasty to me because I started to become friends with this other group, which they started to think, oh, I just want to be hanging out with the popular girls. And that really wasn't it at all. I just started to make friendships with these other girls in junior high. So I think that might have been part of it. And then mom had been going through some marital issues and going through a divorce. So it could have just been different factors. I think, again, it goes back to the timing. And I don't know how else to explain it. It's just something that just touched my life and did so in a very, instrumental way that has just stuck with me. So it's a great question. And I don't have can't pinpoint one thing, but I think it's a combination when I look back on those different areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say a collective thank you for being able to, and then doing it, reaching out to her and telling her what impact she made. Because how beautiful is that when you can share with somebody how big of an impact they made on your life. So I love that. And before we let that go, I just want to ask, when you were with this person, is she working with you one-on-one, or was it in a classroom setting?
It was a classroom setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a classroom setting. And again, thinking back, it might have been an area that I excelled in too. Early on, when I was a young girl, I didn't really think anything about sports, athletics prior to junior high. But then again, once we got into that stage in junior high where you have to have PE every day, it was something that I enjoyed and I looked forward to. And I just have to just think back that it had to have been a positive experience, because that was something that I really stressed when I was teaching elementary school PE, is to the best that I could make it fun, make it positive for these young people so that they carry it through the rest of their lives, because that's what it's all about. And so much of the time it's not presented as that. So then what happens, young people form this negative attitude toward it, and then they don't want to exercise, or they don't want to take care of their nutrition or their health. And so that's always been a huge goal of mine, is to present it in a positive, fun way, especially with kids, because it can be fun and they can enjoy it. And then it makes it be something they want to do and continue doing into later years. So that's always been really important.
And so how did you transition from the children level, which I'm thinking grammar school, so you tell us what it was, to college, to now the groups of moms, adults? What was that transition like, for transition of educating your audience, who your audience was?
The interesting thing is I never stopped teaching college. So that was my first age level that I taught, and that I did teach for over 30 years. And interestingly enough, one of the classes that I taught was at a university, and it was an upper division course, and it was PE for children. And the course was meant to be a course that just gave a little bit of a kind of rough, I want to say, overview on teaching physical education for those classroom teachers, because it was geared towards those who were going to go on and teach elementary school. And most schools back then, and now again, don't have trained physical education teachers. So it was a way to give them some information, some education about health and nutrition and physical education when it comes to that age group. And then also to go through, there was a lab portion where we would go through different activities that you could teach the kids. So you were starting to give these teachers kind of some tools in their toolbox, so that if they were responsible, which many of them were, to take the students out for PE, they would have something that they could do and fall back on. And so I taught that class. It was really fun. And I taught that for quite a few years. So I had that. So I was able to really apply a lot of that to the elementary school age children.
Are you still currently teaching at a college level?
I actually am. I actually retired a little over a year ago. And then about, I don't know, it was after the first of the year, I was offered a couple classes. So I'm doing just one online class right now. So yes.
Is it in what area?
It's actually in fitness, and which is, I really thought I would never, ever teach online a fitness class. In fact, it's ironic because before the country shut down, and I'll never forget, we had a department meeting years ago, and the topic came up, and we were all just thinking, no, we can't have fitness and activity classes online. It doesn't work. You have to be in person. Then we were forced to do it online, right? And so there's still online courses that are offered that are activity courses, which still, to me, to this day, I go, doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm like, hey, if they're going to offer it and they're going to ask me to teach it, I'll do it. So I'm doing that. I have taught health through the years. And I also taught a kinesiology class, which is basically individuals who are considering going into that field like I did of study, and you explain different career paths that they can take. So that was another really fun class that I got to teach.
And so can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do with moms?
So this is something that I've been working on for a while, and they always say you want to find your niche, and I've helped a lot of people through the years, but I have such a passion for motherhood and being a mom, and then the passion for health and nutrition and wellness. I just wanted to combine those and be able to serve moms in a way that maybe they're just not taking the time for themselves that they could be. I don't like to use the word should be, but it's a challenge. And I think back from my personal experience, and I'm very grateful that, again, the fitness, the nutrition, it's always been a part of my life. So I fit it in somehow, even when my babies were little. And I guess I wanted to just be able to share with other moms and give them that accountability, give them the support to be able to take that time for themselves and put them as a priority. We tend to be put like on the back burner, and I've heard it a lot. And so I want to just be able to give back and just help educate, but also inspire moms. And another part of that is the area that I'm also very passionate about is raising awareness about what we're being exposed to every day as far as toxins are concerned, and leading moms, because we set the examples for our children, our families. Not that dads don't, the dads do too, but being able to set that example and start to make changes, if we're not doing it already, that are a little bit cleaner, healthier choices for ourselves and our families, so that we can lead healthier, more energetic, long-lasting lives. And longevity is a big deal. And it's not just to live a long time, but let's have a quality of life through those years. That's always what I want to share with others. And I will always say, and I probably sound like a broken record, that it's never perfect. It's a never perfect situation. And I always like to stress that, because I feel like that, and that, let's face it, that's what holds many of us back in any area of our lives, right? We think it has to be a certain way or be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, even though we want it to be. But that's just something that I like to stress and educate moms, because it's not something that even in my field, it's not something that I realized early on. I'm sure I gave my kids some snacks that weren't the best for them. But again, you do what you want the time to do. And when you know better, you can do better. And there's a lot that I've learned since then, and that I would do a little bit differently and better. And thank goodness my kids are healthy, but you learn. And again, with age comes wisdom, as we know, right?
Yeah. So what I hear a lot in there is passion for motherhood. And I know that. So that's a little bit of insight. I know that, and it was part of how we started this, introducing you. And that is something that you're really passionate about. So we use the word passion a lot. We throw it around and we all know what it means. But can you tell us what that means for you specifically? When you say you're passionate about being a mother, passionate about family, what does that mean for you?
For me, it means it's a very big part of my life, a huge responsibility I feel. And my family, my children are my heart. And so that is off the top of my head, the first things that come to mind. And it could go back, we could talk about this for so long. It could go back to, gosh, my childhood. My mom was amazing. My dad was amazing, but my mom did go through a couple different marriages. So there was never that. I always loved my family. I always felt loved. It's not even that. However, I think it's just that family unit. I never took that for granted as a mom myself, as I treasured and treasure it so much that leads to my thoughts and my feelings as well. And I really am very grateful too, along the same lines, that my husband has that same viewpoint as far as family comes first. And he told me years ago, and this has always stuck with me, like he could have gotten a management job or a position in his current job, but he would have been traveling a lot. And he says it's not worth It's not that big of a jump in salary, and it's not worth me being gone and traveling and missing this time with our kids. These are times we can never get back. And I don't say that for those moms and dads out there that have to work, have a demanding schedule. I don't say that to make you feel bad or guilty in any way, shape, or form, because I know everybody's lives are different and we all have different responsibilities, and some of us don't have the choice in that. However, that's a statement that has always stuck with me, and it's so true. And that's another part of it too, is I love to be able to see families be able to have that time together. And it does, as we know, it goes so fast. And so that's another part of it. I just think it's always just been a really big, very important job. I never have taken it lightly. And it's my most favorite job in the world, as it is for most moms.
So that makes me feel like I want to go into the home and family being so important, a mom, a parent, caregiver, being such an important role. And you talk about having a healthy home, feeding our children good, healthy, nutrient-rich foods. Can you tell us about toxins in the home and living in a healthy lifestyle from your perspective?
I know for me personally, a couple of things I can share is that when my kids were really little, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and it was about a year later that she lost her battle. And ironically enough, I just did an episode about this. Tomorrow's the anniversary of her death and actually her birthday. So yeah, so it's quite a date for me. That was a little bit of a milestone for me, going, okay, what's going on? I don't want to say I got cynical, but I started to really dive in a little deeper as to, okay, here's this vibrant, what I thought to be healthy, beautiful woman. What happened? Now, again, nobody's perfect. I'm sure she had years earlier, maybe she did stuff that wasn't so healthy. We all do that, right? It's just, but at that point in time, I just remember just thinking, okay, what is going on? And it wasn't that I was angry, but it was almost like to that stage. And I will say, when I first got pregnant with my daughter, and she's now going to be 26, I started to become more diligent about looking at labels at that time and reading ingredients. And I really was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I look back and I go, even though I had the education, I wasn't as diligent about that kind of a thing. I didn't realize, oh my gosh, this has artificial sweetener, artificial ingredients, artificial colorings. No, I'm not going to put that in my body. And that's where it started for me. So, then when mom was sick, that took it to a whole other level. And then 10 years later, my dad was battling various illnesses. And then we lost him as well to different illnesses. And more information is coming out right now, which I'm so happy about it, that it's becoming more mainstream and discussed, our health, because it's something that I've been sharing with my students for so many years about the toxins and about metabolic factors and all of these things, that we need to take the steps and be proactive for our own personal health so that we don't get sick later on. Hopefully that's the goal, right? So that's where it all started. And it's just been a journey since then. And I've just continued to research and read and learn, try new products, whether it be cleaning products, lotions, face creams, food products, water, wine. I found a clean crafted wine that doesn't have chemicals or pesticides. So it's all kinds of things. When you start to go down the rabbit hole, you don't really want to. Let me just tell you that, because every day we're exposed to these different toxins. And like I said, more and more information is coming out. It's being talked about more and more, which is a really good thing. And I just say, do what you can do. Take little steps, maybe little baby steps, make a couple adjustments, a couple swap outs here and there, and take it slow. Because if you try and do everything, it's just overwhelming. Because when you look at all of the products we use every day, especially women, it's estimated that we use approximately 180, we're exposed to 180 different chemicals, toxins just in our personal care daily. So when you look at that, and then you add everything else onto it, it sounds like a really dismal situation, but it can be reversed to some degree. It's not, again, never perfect, but there are things we can do to make it better.
And so what are some of the things that you do in your home and that you share with your community to help reduce the toxins?
So I have some non-toxic cleaning products that I have discovered, and I'm still trying. There's many more out nowadays. I'm still always open and trying new products. Skincare is a big one. I have some skincare that I love. I have some makeup products that I've tried that I'm using and trying. Nutrition is a big one. I use a certain nutrition supplement that's clean, no chemicals, no pesticides, and that's something that's been a part of my life for a really long time. And I think that made a real big impact on me also over 10 years ago, because when I started using this nutrition, I noticed a shift in how I felt. I had a shift in my energy. And so that really was impactful for me, going from, oh, I think I'm pretty energetic and healthy, to, whoa, I didn't realize I could feel that much better. And I think that's so key for so many people, because I feel like either one, we don't realize how much better we can feel, or two, we just accept how we're feeling and go, oh, that's just part of it. I'm getting older. Instead
Mm-hmm.
of going, oh, let's live and enjoy living and have energy and be joyful the best that we can. Obviously, it's not perfect. We have our days, we have our moments. And that's what I do. I'm just trying to share what I have found. I share that with others to shorten their time frame so they don't have to start going out and trying things. And I can say, look, I've tried this and this has been great. I really like this product, or this non-toxic candle. I love candles and I have found non-toxic candles. So it's just a matter of being on that journey and trying different things, and then just sharing what I find with others. So nutrition supplements I have been using, it's a company called Isogenics. I've been using their products for over 10 years. And prior to that, I had tried a lot of different products, mostly because I was curious, just because of my profession. And I would have students and clients ask me, what do you recommend? And I had tried a lot of companies that are out still to this day. I had tried a lot of them. And it wasn't until this moment in my life where I put these products that I use now in my body, and within days, I woke up and I went, wow, I feel different. It was like I noticed it, and I had never had that in the past. So that was a really big deal for me, just for me personally. And then I have various skincare products that I like. I have a nail polish that I found that's non-toxic. You know what I mean? There's just so many, you have to really seek out. But the great thing is now there are a lot more options coming out and available to us. And I talk about this. I have a master class on this topic also. And I do share how we might think something is clean and healthy, and in actuality, it might not be. Sometimes companies will share on their labeling or their marketing or their branding and make it sound like or look like it's clean. And it might be to some degree, but it might not be as clean as they say. So I get this. I want to let people know, oh, you still have to look at the ingredients. Even if you think, oh, turn a blind eye because it's with this particular company or that company, not necessarily. You still want to look, you still want to read, you still want to do a little bit of your own research. And I'm always happy to answer questions. I have people send me labels and ingredients sometimes and go, hey, is there anything here? And I can glance, I'm done it enough now. I can glance at it and go, oh, yikes, there's artificial ingredients or sucralose, and then go from there. The one last thing on this topic is that's such a big reason why we are sick as a nation is toxins, and then the processed foods that we're eating and not getting enough nutrients in our bodies. So those factors, we have control over that. So that's the exciting thing. We can take steps to make changes.
Absolutely. Do people reach out to you to find out more about that? How do you want to direct people on that topic?
Sure. Anyone can message me about any topic at all, and then any product at all. I do have some links to different companies that I've tried and I've used, and some I'm affiliate links, some I'm not. Some I'm just saying, I've tried this is great, use this. Gosh. And a fun one, like I said, the wine. When I discovered that, I went, okay, no chemicals and no pesticides and no added sugar. And I'm like, I'm in, let's try it. So it's just a matter of, again, just doing the research and giving it a try. But yeah, anyone can reach out to me through whether it be Instagram or Facebook, and I'm happy to share. And if they have something they're using and they want a little bit of feedback or suggestions, I'm happy to do that. I know what I love and what's worked for me, but I also know that everything I use doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody out in
Sure.
the world, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a
Absolutely.
matter of just saying, here's what I love, here's what's worked for me, this is what I use, and then just go from there. And then again, it's some people have other things that they're trying, and I can at least look at it and give them a little bit of feedback on it,
Yeah.
and it's be there to serve.
And you also mentioned you have a master class. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I put together a masterclass on this very topic. So it's about healthy, clean living in a toxic world. And I share a little bit about what I've shared today, a little bit about my history and my family, and kind of what brought me to really being more involved in this topic and this area. And I share some of the chemicals that are a little bit more dangerous to us. I give a really brief history, and brief because I have a book that goes over all kinds of history and different things that happened through the years. And we can go back to, believe it or not, 1901 was when they first started using Monsanto products. That's how long. And it's just the thing that I don't know that everybody understands. And it's something that I'll share and continue to share. If you look at the incidence of disease and illness, especially many of them that occur in children, the graph is very much in line with the use and the increased use of pesticides and chemicals. And there's a connection there. And I don't know that everybody knows that or understands that. Thankfully, there's some big people out in the world now that are sharing that. So it will get the message out more.
And tell us about your work in your recent event that's coming up with moms.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I am so excited. Again, this has been on my heart to do for a couple years now. And I do have a coaching program. I can work with moms one-on-one that might want the coaching. However, I really wanted to plan an in-person event because I know how valuable community is and being together and having that support and that connection with other moms. So I've planned an in-person mom's wellness event. It's happening locally. I live in Southern California, so it's happening locally. I have speakers lined up and a few vendors, and the idea is to bring information to all of us moms that relate to wellness. And wellness is not just the nutrition and the fitness and what our physical bodies are doing, but it's so much more. It's the emotional part, it's the mental part, it's financial, all of these areas that make up this kind of wheel, if you will, of wellness. And so my vision was to bring speakers that can share their expertise and or their journeys on these different topics, where us as moms, we can become educated, we can become inspired, and most importantly, be together. And so I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be an amazing day.
Yeah, I wish I was local. We talked about that before. Yes, I am so excited for that. I'll be watching. I'm just cheering you on. Thank you so much for doing that because you're
Thank you
sharing
for your
knowledge and you're
support.
doing the work, meaning doing the work to pull this together. It's a big undertaking and reaching the people that are right for this goal of yours to share this knowledge, to bring moms together, having people come in and speak to things that you know are so important. So thank you, because it's a lot of work to do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for recognizing that. And again, it's my goal is just to be able to serve the moms that are in the room. And I'm just thrilled about who we have lined up and just such good-hearted, generous moms themselves. And I just think, like I said, it's gonna be really special. Yes, I wish you lived closer.
I know, so exciting. So here on the Wonder Boldly show, I always ask my guests to leave our listeners with one action item. So from your perspective, somebody's listening, they're like, oh, toxins, that's interesting, or support in a mom community. Whichever way you want to go, totally up to you. We're open, we're learners. What would you say is one action step to live healthier lives?
I would say one of the first things I will share, and this is more for each individual who is listening, is to, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, to step outside, have some quiet time, maybe take a deep breath in, get some fresh air, and make it a point to have some quiet downtime. No music, no TV. Sometimes the noise might be happening. We can't control that always. But I just think that is something that collectively we don't always take the time to slow down and do that. And what I will always share is it doesn't have to be very much time. Like literally 5 minutes could make a world of difference. And even for those that might be at a job sitting at their desk, or maybe they're working from home, standing up, stretching, and walking outside for 5 minutes can make such a difference. And to me, that's doable. I feel like that's doable. It's not like I'm saying go run around the block for 45 minutes. We'll work up to that. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, right. So if somebody's, okay, that sounds doable, what is the feeling that you can get from that? What is that sort of, I'm going to use the word motivator. So someone's, okay, Shelly said, I'm going to go outside and get some fresh air this morning.
You will feel re-energized, invigorated, more peaceful, and have more of a clear head to approach the rest of your day. And when you go out, or even at your desk, but when you go out and you take those deep breaths in, it resets our nervous system. So it helps with stress is what I'm getting at. It's going to help, absolutely help with stress. And that's another really a big area that many are dealing with, that if it's a matter of just taking that 5 minutes, it's going to help reset your body so that you feel energized and your mind feels more clear and you feel less stress, then you are already ahead of the game as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you so much for that. This has been so great to have you. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you and all the work you do. We will put all the links in the show notes. And is there anything else you'd like to leave us with?
I just wanted to say thank you, Christine. You know that I think the world of you, and I probably wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for you. So I thank you so much. And I just really appreciate you having me on. And I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for our friendship.
Oh, I am too. Thank you so much for those kind words. It means a lot. All right, everybody, until next time, continue to wonder boldly. That's it for this episode. Thank you again so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please share it with a friend and leave a 5-star review. It means way more than you know. Until next time, continue to wonder boldly.